Mobile equipment pedestrian safety. Constellium routinely uses mobile equipment such as forklifts in nearly all of its processes. Interaction with mobile equipment presents a significant hazard to pedestrians. This video will cover the hazards of mobile equipment and inform you on how to remain safe when working with mobile equipment. In fact, Constellium has experienced some very serious accidents related to mobile equipment. The 15-foot rule. The 15-foot rule requires that pedestrians and mobile equipment remain at least 15 feet apart unless clear consent has been given from both parties or if there is physical separation between the two. Both pedestrians and mobile equipment operators are responsible to ensure the 15-foot rule is adhered to. This video will show you how to apply the 15-foot rule in typical situations you may encounter at our plants. We will cover 6 common scenarios. Scenario 1. A forklift and pedestrian are approaching face-to-face. In this first scenario, a forklift and a pedestrian are moving in the opposite direction and are approaching each other face-to-face. What is the at-risk behavior? The pedestrian and forklift are continuing on their path, not respecting the 15-foot rule. An unexpected direction change by either can result in the pedestrian being struck by the forklift. Neither the pedestrian nor the forklift operator can be sure they are seen by the other, nor can they predict the next movement of the other. What is the safe behavior? When a protected walkway is not available, or when it's not possible to step into a safe area, a pedestrian and operators approach in the following manner. Both the pedestrian and forklift stop prior to approaching the 15 feet hazard zone. Then the pedestrian may proceed after making eye contact and receiving a hand signal, such as a wave from the truck driver, indicating that it is okay to proceed. The truck must remain stopped until the pedestrian has passed and exited the 15 feet hazard zone. Scenario 2. Forklift approaching pedestrian from behind. In this scenario, the forklift and pedestrian are traveling in the same direction and the forklift approaches the pedestrian from behind. What is the at-risk behavior? The forklift driver pulls behind the pedestrian assuming that he knows his truck is nearby. As the forklift enters the 15-foot hazard zone, the pedestrian is unaware of the forklift. Without looking, the pedestrian makes a sudden direction change and steps directly into the path of the forklift. What is the safe behavior? Before entering the 15 feet hazard zone, the driver stops the truck, then honks the horn to alert the pedestrian of his presence. The pedestrian steps into a protected area whenever possible. When this is not possible, the truck must remain stopped until the pedestrian has passed and exited the hazard zone. The forklift passes safely only after making eye contact and receiving a hand signal, such as a wave. Scenario 3. Approaching a forklift to communicate with the operator. In this scenario, a pedestrian wants to speak with a forklift operator. In order to do this, he has to enter the 15 feet hazard zone. What is the at-risk behavior? The pedestrian approaches the forklift to speak with the operator, assuming that the operator is aware he wishes to approach. However, the operator does not see the pedestrian. The hazard is that the operator suddenly begins to move the forklift, putting the pedestrian at risk, or a malfunction causes an unintentional move. Many pieces of mobile equipment have blind spots, especially forklifts, and when a pedestrian approaches these blind spots, they may not be visible to the operator. You can see how difficult it can be for the forklift operator to see a pedestrian in his blind spot. What is the safe behavior? If there is a need to approach a forklift, the pedestrian should approach from the side of the forklift, being careful not to breach the 15 feet hazard zone. The pedestrian gestures "okay" to approach. The forklift operator stops and puts the forks down. The operator puts the forklift in neutral and switches the ignition off. The operator then gestures to the pedestrian that it is okay to approach. After communication, the pedestrian exits the 15 feet hazard zone. Prior to moving, the operator ensures that the hazard zone is clear and confirms the pedestrian is in a safe location prior to moving the forklift. Scenario 4. Moving materials to or from a workplace. In this scenario, a forklift operator must deliver materials to a work area where a pedestrian is working at a table and has his back to the direction that the forklift is traveling. This operation is required to happen many times per shift because forklift operators must keep the operation supplied with parts. What is the at-risk behavior? Since the pedestrian has his back to the forklift operator, he is at risk to unexpectedly move into the path of the forklift as the parts are delivered. The forklift operator approaches the work area and does not sound his horn. He breaches the 15 feet hazard zone, and the pedestrian, who is unaware that the truck is approaching, turns abruptly to pick up another part and steps directly into the path of the oncoming truck where he is struck. What is the safe behavior? Before entering the 15 feet hazard zone, the forklift operator stops the forklift and honks the horn to alert the pedestrian of his presence and requests that the pedestrian leave the hazard zone so he can approach safely. The pedestrian steps out of the 15-foot hazard zone. The forklift approaches safely after making eye contact and receiving a gesture such as a wave. The pedestrian does not return to his work area until the forklift has safely exited the 15 feet hazard zone. Scenario 5. Truck driver near forklift during loading. In this scenario, a forklift operator is loading a delivery truck. In this case, the delivery truck is required to be nearby to ensure proper placement and weight distribution of the load on the truck. Because of this, he cannot stay in the cab or in a protected area out of sight of the loading operation. What is the at-risk behavior? The forklift operator fails to give the delivery driver instruction on where to safely stand. The forklift operator begins to load the truck. The delivery driver approaches the hazard zone while the forklift is operating. The forklift operator is unaware that the delivery driver is approaching and makes a sudden turn, striking the delivery driver. What is the safe behavior? Prior to beginning the loading operation, the forklift operator instructs the delivery driver on where to stand, outside of the 15 feet hazard zone, and to remain there while he is loading the truck, unless he gives a clear gesture to approach. The delivery driver stands in the designated safe location and is able to communicate the proper location to the forklift operator out of the hazard zone. Scenario 6. Distracted pedestrian and operator. Both pedestrians and mobile equipment operators must be fully aware of their surroundings. When either party is distracted, a significant risk is created. What is the at-risk behavior? A pedestrian is using his mobile phone while approaching a crosswalk. He is not aware of his surroundings and does not check for oncoming traffic. At the same time, a forklift operator is attempting to locate a coil and is checking his paperwork for the correct lot number of the coil while moving. Neither the forklift operator nor the pedestrian are paying full attention to what they are doing, and neither is aware of the other due to their distractions. What is the safe behavior? The pedestrian receives a call and waits to answer it only after he walks to a safe location in a protected location. The forklift operator checks his clipboard for the correct lot number of the coil he is to load prior to getting onto the forklift. Both parties are fully aware of their surroundings and much less likely to have an accident. To recap, we have seen 6 examples on how to apply the 15-foot rule on the shop floor. Remember, pedestrians and mobile equipment operators must always stop before approaching the 15 feet zone. When a fork truck and pedestrian are passing each other, the truck must remain stopped and the pedestrian may proceed after making eye contact and receiving a hand signal, such as a wave. Remember, when a pedestrian approaches mobile equipment, he must stay back until it is safe to approach. Forks down, ignition off, clear gesture that it is okay to approach. When approaching pedestrians in a work area, mobile equipment operators must signal to the pedestrians that they wish to enter the area and wait for them to exit prior to proceeding. Remember, when loading trucks, drivers must be instructed to stay in a safe location away from the hazard zone. They may approach only after they are given clear consent from the mobile equipment operator that it is safe to approach. Multitasking operations, such as use of mobile phones and completing paperwork, are unacceptable and may only be performed in safe locations. The 15-foot rule is proven to significantly reduce the risk to pedestrians. However, the field of view for mobile equipment operators can be obstructed at times, making the pedestrian difficult to see from the driver's seat. This is the reason why physical separation between mobile equipment and pedestrians is always safer, and sites shall give priority to barriers and mobile equipment elimination whenever possible. This training video applies to all mobile equipment, including trains and cars, both inside and outside of buildings. We have shown a number of key risks that you must be aware of when working on the shop floor. This video does not cover all risks, so it's important to apply the 15-foot rule at all times.